Caleb, I have a suggestion for you. How about helping us out with some farm work? My 14-year-old grandson Caleb looked at me with disdain in his eyes.
Help with farm work? That's lame. Farming doesn't make any money. It's just old people playing in the dirt. I don't want to do that.
His words were full of prejudice. Since he felt that way, I thought it was important to teach him the reality, so I decided to provoke him a bit. Oh, you don't even have the strength to play in the dirt? How weak. Are you weaker than a fly? But when it comes to running away, you're as fast as a cockroach. Calling my grandson a fly or a cockroach felt a bit harsh, but sometimes you have to push the right buttons to get through. Sure enough, my words made him angry.
What? Don't insult me. Who are you calling a fly or a cockroach? Don't underestimate me. Fine, I'll do it. I'll finish that dirt playing in no time.
Even though he was all talk, there's no such thing as farm work that can be done quickly. Basically, he was hilariously ignorant at this point, but soon enough, he would come to realize the harsh reality. I'm Amelia. I'm 66 years old and run a farm in a rural area. My husband Liam, who is either already or still 70 years old, is still working hard. Naturally, or perhaps it's odd to say, we have a daughter, Sophia, who is already married and has moved out, and a grandson, Caleb. In August, I got a call from Sophia.
Mom, we're coming to visit during Caleb's vacation.
Got it, we'll be waiting. Since Sophia was coming back, it was only natural that she would bring Caleb along, but it had been quite a while since I last saw Caleb, so I asked Sophia. By the way, how old is Caleb now? He's 14. He's that old already. I felt the rapid passage of time. If my memory serves, the last time I saw him, he was 10. Even though he is my beloved grandson, to be honest, I didn't have a very good impression of him. Sure, when he was a toddler, he wasn't much trouble, but as he grew older and became more aware, he was, to put it mildly, a handful. No, to be blunt, he was a self-assertive brat. Here's what I remember. A mobile phone is certainly indispensable in life now, but giving one to an elementary school kid? Maybe that's an outdated thought. By the time I noticed, Caleb already had a mobile phone. And he never let it go.
Caleb, can you put your phone down during meals?
Why? It's my business. I couldn't understand why his phone was so important that he had to use it during meals, but I decided to keep quiet, chalking it up to a generational difference. Even at meals, Caleb was selfish and had a strong aversion to certain foods.
I don't want vegetables. Give me meat.
You need a balanced diet.
Shut up. I don't want what I don't want.
Everyone has food preferences, so maybe it's not a big deal, but his extreme pickiness worried me. If that was all, it wouldn't be so bad, but he was also brazen and bold.
Grandma, give me some pocket money.
He held out his hand without any hesitation.
I can give you some, but you could ask a bit more politely, don't you think?
Given how insolent Caleb has been from such a young age, it's only natural to worry about his upbringing. So, I tried to scold him gently, but he responded with a face full of anger, yelling.
It's normal for grandparents to give their grandchildren pocket money. Why do you have to be so annoying about it?
It's not that I dislike giving pocket money, but the way he demanded it made me feel as if he were trying to stifle me. No matter how much I love my grandchild, it was complicated. He's always been like this, so Liam, who had had enough, spoke up.
Sophia, what's going on with Caleb's manners?
My husband Jackson believes in raising him freely and openly. Sophia said this, but I couldn't just accept that, so I asked.
Is Jackson taking the lead in raising him?
He's barely involved in raising him. It seemed like a huge contradiction that, despite Jackson's supposed philosophy, he wasn't actually involved. But that didn't leave much room for intervention. Quite some time had passed since then, and I wondered if things had improved as I waited for Caleb to arrive.
Hello, Mom. Glad you could come, Sophia. Where's Jackson?
He couldn't come because of work. Caleb, who was now 14, looked appropriately grown up, and I was impressed.
Hello, Caleb. I'm gonna play games.
The important thing was that he entered the house without even greeting me and headed straight to his room. Even I thought this was too much, so I told Sophia.
Isn't it rude not to say hello?
Caleb never liked coming here. He's a city kid.
I understand that, but he should at least say hello, right?
It seemed that he hadn't grown at all inside. And I felt disappointed. Dealing with his selfishness was my challenge. Even though I was worried, I couldn't just drive Caleb away, so I tried my best to take care of him, but it always ended in failure.
There's nothing around here anyway, right?
Caleb even refused to join our conversation, staying in his room and playing games. Even if that was acceptable, the real problem was at mealtime. I was the one who prepared the meals, and the menu was mainly vegetables. But he openly showed his dislike at the dinner table.
There's nothing here I can eat. Give me meat. I want meat. Think a little about your health. Shut up. I can't eat what I can't eat. And I definitely can't eat old people's cooking.
His childish outburst was expected, but I finally realized he was in his rebellious phase. But Liam was not one to stay silent.
If you don't want to eat, you don't have to. Amelia, clear Caleb's plate. But
just clear it. Okay. Following Liam's instructions, I cleared his plate. This is delicious. Amelia's vegetable-rich meals are delicious. There's no time for picky eating. Ah, it's so good. Clearly, Liam was speaking to him on purpose, but Caleb didn't respond.
The gentle taste of these vegetables is wonderful. Damn it. Fine, I'll just buy something from the store.
As Caleb stood up, irritated by Liam's provocations, Liam responded calmly.
That's fine, but the nearest store is a 30-minute walk away. What the hell is this place?
Caleb, who probably thought the store was much closer, looked astonished.
Caleb, why don't you try it?
No.
It's not like I'm trying to poison you. I absolutely refuse. I won't eat vegetables even if I die.
Watching his adamant refusal to eat vegetables made me worry about his future. It wasn't just about nutrition, but how he might struggle later in life. That day, he stubbornly refused to eat anything at all. Standing his ground is sometimes important, but not when it comes to something as essential as eating. The next day, Caleb stayed holed up in his room, and I couldn't shake off my worry, so I talked to Liam about it. Honey, isn't there something we can do about Caleb?
Well, maybe we should have him experience our work for a day. If he gets interested in vegetables, his attitude might change.
That sounds like a good idea. With a plan in place, we proposed it to Caleb.
Caleb, how about you try working on a farm for a day? What? Farming? That's so lame. It's just old folks playing in the dirt for no money. Have you ever made any money from it? No, right?
His ignorance was astounding, and his city upbringing seemed almost like a crime in its own way.
Farming is so uncool. Remember that time you brought those dirty, muddy vegetables to our house? Do you know how embarrassed I was? I got made fun of so much.
His complete lack of appreciation for those muddy vegetables, and his unwillingness to understand their value, only fueled my anger.
Why don't you try it first before spouting such arrogant opinions? No way. I don't have time for that.
Liam, knowing Caleb would refuse, smirked mischievously. Oh, you can't even play in the dirt? Pretty weak, huh? City kids are weaker than I thought. But you sure can run away fast like a cockroach. I knew provoking him wasn't the best approach, but I joined in, making Caleb's face flush with anger.
Who's a roach? Fine, I'll do it.
Though he agreed, he had no idea how challenging it would be. So, Liam drove the truck with Caleb, and we headed to the farm.
I'll finish this quickly. Farming is no big deal.
Caleb seemed overconfident, but as soon as Liam stopped the truck at the field, Caleb looked puzzled.
What's this, Grandpa? There's nothing here.
Everything you see is the field. You'll be helping us harvest carrots.
What? Everything I see? Isn't that way too much? Are we really doing this?
He was stunned, clearly underestimating what farm work entailed.
Well, let's start playing in the dirt. Don't chicken out now. Okay.
With Caleb looking shocked, we entered the field. Liam and I were used to it, but for him, it was a completely new world.
What is this? I can't pull it out.
Don't just yank it out with brute force, you'll break it.
Don't make it sound so easy. I can't do that.
Oh, you can't even handle that?
Ugh.
Just pulling out the carrots without breaking them was a challenge for Caleb, but he silently worked, spurred by Liam's taunts.
What is this? There's a gross bug here. It's disgusting.
Seeing him panic, I noticed it was just an earthworm. Oh dear, haven't you ever seen an earthworm before?
What is this monster? An earthworm? What's that?
Calling a mere earthworm a monster showed how sheltered he was, and it made him seem pitiable rather than just ignorant. Make sure you handle the earthworms gently.
Ew. There are so many.
Caleb, looking pale and on the verge of tears, couldn't just stop working because of a little discomfort.
You can scream all you want, but keep moving your hands. This mud play is just getting started. Yeah. Don't mock me.
He tried to act tough, but it didn't last long.
Gosh. It's heavy.
Even the weight of a carrot seemed to trouble Caleb, but helping him wouldn't do any good. You're weak.
Aren't you a man? Yeah, but...
It's just a game, right? Isn't it fun? Didn't you say you'd finish quickly? Liam was being a bit harsh, but it seemed necessary for Caleb to understand. An hour passed.
Is there no break?
Is there a break in play? Though he said it provocatively, in reality, Caleb was weak and already out of breath. Grandpa's right. It's a game, so enjoy it more. Caleb, holding himself accountable to his own words, silently continued the harvest. As more time passed, Caleb's cheeky attitude had completely calmed down. All right, let's take a break.
Finally, I'm so thirsty. At least give me some water.
Caleb lay down on the ground, just breathing heavily. Caleb, try this. Liam offered a carrot to Caleb, wiping off just a bit of mud.
Huh? Can I eat it like this?
Caleb's attitude showed no aversion to vegetables, only hunger, so Liam replied confidently. Yeah, it's even better this way.
All right.
With a slightly trembling hand, he took the carrot and bit into it decisively. It's good. Better than I thought. Fresh, juicy carrots are incredibly delicious when just harvested, especially when exhausted. Yeah, it's delicious. I never knew something could taste this good. It was probably just a case of him being a picky eater. While I questioned my daughter Sophia's and Jackson's parenting approach, seeing him devour the carrot with such enthusiasm made all that irrelevant. Later, as we wrapped up the work and headed home,
Grandma, I'm so sweaty. What should I do?
take a shower.
Okay. I have something to talk about after your shower.
Understood. Caleb responded obediently and went to shower.
So, what are your thoughts on the old man's mud play?
Liam asked Caleb with a sly grin after he finished his shower. I'm sorry. It was really hard.
That wasn't a game at all. Don't think that was all there is. Farming requires a lot more effort and time.
Liam then explained the farming process in detail to him.
It takes that much effort?
Yes, it does.
You said you can't make money from farming, right? Didn't you know vegetables are priced and sold?
No, I didn't think it mattered. I was shallow in my thinking. Caleb seemed to reflect, admitting his fault more readily than expected.
The carrot you ate today is the taste of a farmer's hard work. Remember that well. I won't forget. Never. That taste will stay with me forever.
His earnest declaration was reassuring, showing that the lesson had made an impact. The change in Caleb was dramatic, as he came to talk to me early the next morning.
Grandpa, Grandma, can I help with the farm work again today?
For us, having an extra pair of hands was a blessing, so there was no reason to refuse. As a result, Caleb helped with the farm work every day during his stay at our house. He seemed to find the work rewarding, even though he had only experienced a part of it. In terms of meals, there was also a significant change. He no longer disliked vegetable-based dishes.
This soup is delicious. I like the taste of the carrots. The grilled bell peppers are also great.
Perhaps because it had awakened his senses, he had developed a liking for carrots.
Why did I ever hate something so tasty?
I feel so silly. As a growing boy, Caleb ate heartily, and he no longer had any picky eating habits. Eventually, the day came for Caleb and Sophia to return home.
Grandpa, Grandma, thank you. And I'm sorry for everything.
Caleb, bowing his head sincerely, seemed to have grown into someone we wouldn't need to worry about for the future. So I smiled at him and said, "It's okay. I'm glad you understand. Come visit us again."
Thanks.
With a boyish grin, Caleb and Sophia left. After that, things took an unexpected turn. The following summer, Sophia brought Caleb back to our house again, and Caleb spoke with a serious and determined tone.
Grandpa, Grandma, I've made up my mind. I'm going to attend a high school where I can study agriculture.
His eyes were filled with determination that seemed unshakable. It was Sophia who seemed confused by his decision.
Jackson said a regular high school would be fine, but I replied that we were raising him to be free and independent. So, I supported Caleb's decision.
That's the right call. What's needed for learning is not just talent, but most importantly, the will to do it.
Exactly. That's right.
He went on to attend the high school where he could study agriculture. According to Sophia, he enjoyed his studies there. Time flies, and 3 more years passed. Caleb graduated from agricultural high school and visited us that summer.
Grandpa, Grandma, I have a question. Is there anyone to take over the farm?
When Caleb suddenly asked this, Liam confessed with a slightly apologetic look.
No, unfortunately, there's no successor. We were thinking of ending it with us.
It was true that there was no successor, and we had been lightly discussing what to do with the unused farmland. But hearing this, Caleb leaned forward and said,
That's a waste. If there's no successor, can I take over?
It was a completely unexpected offer, and I was quite surprised.
Well, if you ask if it's good or bad, it's good. But Caleb, are you really okay with it?
Given the times, traditional farming was not exactly popular for the effort it took. So, I felt a bit guilty about letting young Caleb take over such a humble and dirty job. But Caleb, with pride, said, "Of course it's okay. I chose this path because I wanted to repay Grandpa and Grandma. I have no regrets."
I see. If you have that kind of determination, it would be more rude to refuse.
Thank you, Caleb.
It was an unexpected moment when a successor emerged.
I can't forget the taste of those carrots I had back then. I realized that the rich flavor came from the care put into growing them. I feel it's my duty to protect that.
That's a lovely thing to say. But don't put too much pressure on yourself. Vegetables are delicate. They carry the emotions of the grower.
I understand. Don't worry, I'll take care of it.
When did he become so reliable? I was simply moved beyond words. With this in mind, I couldn't help but decide what to make for dinner tonight.
Then let's make carrot soup for dinner tonight.
Yay! Thank you, Grandma.
In my personal theory, to love growing vegetables, you first have to love eating them, and Caleb was more than qualified for that. And after that, I lived without any worries, surrounded by peace and happiness. Today marks the 50th anniversary of my marriage with my husband. As we each began to eat, our granddaughter Amelia appeared on the verge of tears, showing signs of unease. I wonder what's wrong with Amelia. As I was about to voice my concern, she tugged at her mom, Mia's sleeve, with a tearful voice, appealing.
Mom, I need to go pee-pee.
Faced with her appeal, Mia's expression turned ice cold as she bluntly told Amelia.
What a hassle. Just go in your diaper.
I couldn't comprehend Mia's words. The thought of letting Amelia just wet herself in a diaper, despite her expressing the need to urinate, was beyond belief to me. A wet diaper would be heavy and uncomfortable for Amelia. Unable to hold back, I opened my mouth to reprimand Mia. Before I could speak, a clear voice echoed.
Hey, Auntie. It's not right to use Amelia for likes.
The room fell silent at the unexpected intervention. It was our grandson, Paul. Following his words, Mia was visibly flustered and left speechless. My daughter Madison seemed to realize something and pulled out her mobile phone.
Paul, by likes, do you mean this?
The screen of the mobile phone she pulled out displayed a popular video sharing website.
The secret to a 3-year-old girl's mom's way of handling her child.
Next to a cute illustrated icon, there was a biography written. Amelia is a 3-year-old girl. Could the poster of this video account possibly be Mia?
Madison, could you let me see that video?
Receiving the mobile phone from Madison, I tapped on the top video of the video account. Displayed was, "My name is Isabella. I turned 67 this year. Always putting family first, I've been married to Stephen, who has always been protective, for 50 years. We live modestly as I'm a housewife, and together we lead a simple, happy life. Though not lavish, our days are peaceful and joyful. My husband and I have 2 children. Our son, Matthew, and our daughter, Madison. It's often said how quickly children grow up, and I truly believe it. Our once needy little children have grown up, married, and left the nest. Matthew got married right after graduating from college. When he introduced us to his college classmate Mia as his spouse, I was surprised at their haste. But as long as they were happy, that was all that mattered to us. Our daughter Madison found her match at work, and after living together for 2 years, they got married. Her partner was her direct supervisor. He visited us to formally announce their engagement, impeccably dressed in a suit without a wrinkle. He was just as Madison had described, sincere and serious. Both Stephen and I felt reassured. Both Matthew's and Madison's families bought their homes not far from where my husband and I live, making it easy for them to visit often. It's a joy to have our grown children come to see us. We're blessed with grandchildren too. My first grandchild, Paul, is Madison's firstborn son. 2 years after Paul was born, Matthew and Mia were blessed with a daughter, Amelia. The grandchildren are growing up well, with Paul now a lively 5-year-old. The last time he visited, he proudly showed off his new bag, excited for starting school next year. Amelia, at the age of 3, has recently started to show interest in fashion. She's a well-behaved child for her age, with many friends at the childcare center, a kind soul. The grandchildren attend the same childcare center near my house, filled with memories from when Matthew and Madison were young. The childcare center filled with memories, once attended by both Matthew and Madison. Even though I felt a deep loneliness when our children left home, being able to see them and now their children so easily fills me with immense happiness. My joy comes from seeing my children and my adorable grandchildren. However, there's one thing that I can't help but worry about. It's how often Matthew's wife, Mia, drops off Amelia at our house. I'm truly happy to see Amelia. She's a 3-year-old granddaughter who's rapidly gaining knowledge, and I'm amazed at her growth every time I see her. But the frequency is just too much. After leaving Amelia with us, Mia would head out dressed extravagantly. Since Matthew works late, the care of Amelia falls mostly on my husband Stephen and me. Gradually, Mia started to rely on me for dropping off and picking up Amelia from the childcare center, sometimes not seeing Mia until it was almost the next day. "Grandma, where's Mom? Isn't she coming to pick me up yet?" Amelia would ask me with a sad face when Mia would come to pick her up. Amelia is still 3 years old. She must be in her prime time for seeking her mom's affection. Every time my adorable granddaughter made a sad face, it felt as if my heart was being squeezed tight. To leave such a small child like Amelia. What could Mia be doing after leaving Amelia with me? "Amelia, it's okay. Mom will come to pick you up soon." Every time Amelia looked sad, all I could do was hug her gently. On a cloudless, sunny Sunday, as usual, Mia brought Amelia over. "Good morning, Mom. I'm sorry to ask, but could you please take care of Amelia today too?" Mia, wearing a short skirt and carrying an expensive-looking bag.
"Come on, hurry up,"
urged Mia. As Amelia walked over to me, she grabbed my hand with her small one. Without saying a word to Amelia, Mia just said to me, "I'll be back tonight," and hurried off. As Mia's figure shrank in the distance and eventually disappeared, Amelia looked down sadly.
"Amelia, look, today's such a beautiful day. How about we go to the park together?"
I suggested going to the park to lighten her spirits a bit. Her expression brightened.
"Go to the park."
I was glad to see my granddaughter smile. With that thought, I gently stroked Amelia's head. The park with a large elephant-shaped slide, Amelia's favorite, is about a 20-minute walk from our house. As we walked hand in hand to the park, someone called out to us. A woman around my age, Garcia, who has lived in the neighborhood for a long time. She approached me and Amelia and said something unbelievable.
"Oh my, Isabella. Is this your granddaughter Amelia? Matthew really married a good woman, didn't he?"
I couldn't understand her words. I can't think of Mia as a good wife. How could a mom who leaves her child every day to go out be considered a good wife? Stunned, I froze for a moment before asking.
Garcia, what do you mean by that?
Mia, she's taking care of Amelia by herself since Matthew comes home late, right? She seems to be well educated and has money, so Amelia's future is secure.
Children shouldn't have to suffer because of money issues,
Garcia said with a laugh. Strange. No matter how much I try, the Mia in my mind doesn't match the Mia in Garcia's. Trying not to show my confusion, I replied nonchalantly and continued to the park with Amelia. That night, after 8 p.m., Mia came. After playing a lot in the park and sliding down her favorite elephant slide 5 times, Amelia, tired from all the excitement, had fallen asleep. Carefully lifting the small body so as not to wake her, I handed her over to Mia's arms. As I was about to ask Mia what she has been doing by leaving Amelia with me.
Be careful. Amelia might wake up,
she said hurriedly and left. Even after Mia and Amelia had gone, Garcia's words kept running through my head. Mia, the mom who's wealthy and well-educated. The Mia I know is always out after leaving Amelia with me, and considering she graduated from the same local, small college as Matthew, I couldn't see her as wealthy. That college is hardly famous. Matthew also complained the last time we met that he works late every day but hardly gets paid, and I've never seen any sign that they have financial leeway. He said their monthly income is about average. Moreover, Mia is a housewife and does not work. I couldn't imagine Matthew's family having a high household income.
Isabella, what's wrong?
You look troubled. Looking at me with concern. Stephen must have noticed something was off. After 50 years of marriage, we've shared and overcome everything together. I couldn't keep anything from him. I told Stephen about what Garcia had said. Stephen knew how sad Amelia felt being left with us by Mia every day. Yet, the notion of Garcia seeing Mia as a wealthy, well-educated mom felt odd to share. Stephen listened quietly to my story. After hearing me out, Stephen seemed to ponder for a while before saying,
So, that happened.
He then took out the mobile phone he recently learned to use from Madison and started making a call. I watched Stephen on the phone for a while. I couldn't hear the other end of the conversation well enough to understand what was being said. But, Stephen always leads me in the right direction. Talking to him made my heart feel a bit lighter. I closed my eyes, wishing nothing but happiness for Amelia. A week passed, and I was sitting on the living room sofa, knitting, which is my hobby, when the phone rang. I rushed to answer it.
Hello, Mom? It's your 50th wedding anniversary with Dad this year, right? Madison and I were talking, and we want to celebrate. Do you have any free days?
It was my son, Matthew. He proposed gathering both our families, his and Madison's, to celebrate our anniversary.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Stephen is off on Saturdays and Sundays, so either day is fine.
I informed Matthew of Stephen's days off. I was thrilled at the thought of our children and grandchildren wanting to celebrate our anniversary. The following Saturday night, all 3 families gathered for the first time in a while. A glamorous, high-end restaurant known for its hospitality. Matthew had made the reservation.
Wow! This is so luxurious.
As soon as we entered, Mia excitedly began taking photos of the interior.
Here, Amelia, stand there. Oh, move a bit to the right.
She was taking multiple photos of Amelia next to an expensive-looking painting. Taking photos in a high-end restaurant is generally not seen as appropriate. It can disrupt the ambience and the sound of the shutter can be intrusive, so it's polite to ask staff permission before taking pictures. Mia seemed oblivious, continuing to snap away. I was honestly concerned but didn't want to spoil the celebratory mood, so I silently watched Mia's actions.
Thank you for waiting.
The staff brought over the food. The table was adorned with dishes that looked like delicate works of art.
Now that the food is here, let's say it again. Dad, Mom, happy 50th wedding anniversary. Here's to.
Before Matthew could finish,
Wait a minute.
Mia interrupted loudly.
We need to take photos of the food before anyone touches it. So, wait.
I was taken aback. Stephen sitting next to me looked just as dismayed. Sitting across from me, Madison couldn't hold back and said,
Mia, hold on. Today is about celebrating Dad and Mom. It's not the place for taking photos. That's bad manners.
Mia, upon being told off by Madison, made a displeased face and put her mobile phone down, turning away in a huff. Matthew looked uncomfortable, hanging his head.
Dad, Mom. Once again, from me. Happy 50th wedding anniversary. Madison, Matthew. Thank you.
Although Mia's sulky behavior was concerning, Madison's words were a joy to hear. As we each started to eat, Amelia seemed restless, showing a face like she was about to cry, looking uneasy. I wondered what was wrong with Amelia. As I was about to express my concern, she tugged at Mia's sleeve, with a tearful voice, appealing. Mom, I need to go pee-pee. Mia, faced with her plea, displayed an icy cold expression before bluntly telling Amelia,
What a hassle. Just use your diaper.
I couldn't understand Mia's words. The idea of telling Amelia to just wet herself in a diaper despite expressing the need to urinate was unbelievable to me. A wet diaper would become heavy and uncomfortable for Amelia. I couldn't bear it and opened my mouth to scold Mia. Before I could speak, a clear voice rang out. Hey, Auntie. Amelia is a person, not a toy. The unexpected intervention brought silence to the room. It was Madison's son, Paul. With a stern expression, Paul continued.
It's not right to use Amelia for likes.
Mia, faced with Paul's words, was visibly shaken and left speechless. Mia's treatment towards Amelia was too much to overlook. Too cruel for a mom. Madison seemed to realize something and took out her mobile phone.
Paul, are you talking about this by any chance?
The screen displayed a popular video sharing website. The Secret to Handling a 3-Year-Old Girl by her mom. Next to a cute illustrated icon, there was a biography written. Amelia is a 3-year-old girl. Could the poster of this video account possibly be Mia? Yes. This is yours, right? Chloe's mom showed it to me when I went to Chloe's house. I recalled Madison mentioning Chloe's mom before. Madison and Chloe's mom, being the same age and due to Paul and Chloe getting along well, were close friends.
Madison, could I see that video, please?
Receiving the mobile phone from Madison, I tapped on the top video listed on the account. The title read, How to Get a 3-Year-Old Who Hates Going to the Toilet to Go. A busy day of solo parenting by mom. Thinking how Mia always leaves Amelia with me, claiming solo parenting, I watched the video. It showed Amelia crying and Mia scolding her harshly. Knowing Amelia well from our time together, I was certain. Though her face wasn't clearly shown, this was Amelia. I recognized the flashy clothes of the mom, the same ones Mia wore when she came to pick up Amelia. Mia's tone in the video was too harsh.
Just listen and go to the bathroom.
Mia, grabbing Amelia's arm and raising her voice, must have been holding on tightly. Amelia's thin arm appeared bruised in the video. A chill went down my spine. This was too much. With trembling hands, I tapped on the video titled, "The 3-Year-Old Who Dislikes Everything. How to Fix Picky Eating." It played Mia forcibly stuffing carrots into Amelia's mouth, who complained they were too hard to eat. The video titled, "Sometimes Mom Needs a Break. How to Put Your Child to Sleep Alone," showed Mia locking a protesting Amelia in the bedroom to have a drink alone. Seeing the content, I couldn't believe this was discipline. I felt the blood drain from my face.
Mia, what is this supposed to mean?
I turned to Mia, holding back rising anger, and asked quietly,
"That's not me. It's someone else entirely."
Mia, with her eyes darting back and forth, rapidly insisted. Clearly, something was off. "That's Mia's video. The person in the video is her," Steven stated firmly.
I heard from Isabella the other day. Garcia from the neighborhood said that Mia is a wealthy mom who takes care of Amelia alone while Matthew is away, and she's very dedicated to education. Hearing that made me very curious. So, I decided to check.
The room fell silent as Steven's voice echoed. Mia froze, her eyes wide open, her body trembling slightly.
I called Garcia to ask about Mia. Mia, you asked Garcia to follow this account because you were the one posting, didn't you?
I remembered discussing with Steven what I had heard from our neighbor Garcia. The person Steven had been on the phone with that time was indeed Garcia. Madison, having listened to Steven, looked startled and stood up.
I've heard that too. Mia was going around at the childcare center asking other kids' moms to follow her video account. You wanted to become a famous video creator and asked for their support, right?
Recalling Paul's words that Chloe's mom had told him, I was surprised. Paul, Chloe, and Amelia all attend the same childcare center. It makes sense that Chloe's mom would have heard about Mia's video account. Madison's follow-up made Mia's face turn bright red as she shouted, "That's not true. I didn't ask anyone. I just said if they wanted to follow, I could tell them. I said I would tell you if you followed me." Mia's words echoed in my mind. I was convinced. So, that video account was indeed Mia's.
Mia, you said earlier it wasn't you, but this is you, isn't it?
I pointed to the video showing Mia scolding Amelia from behind. Mia seemed to realize she had slipped up, her face turning pale. Watching this, Paul murmured,
"Getting angry and telling her to go to the toilet, or telling her to use a diaper based on how you feel. If you decide that way, Amelia would be troubled."
Paul's confident words made Mia slump in defeat. Seeing this, Matthew stood up hastily, sitting down on the floor. His eyes firmly met ours. "I didn't realize anything until Paul pointed it out. I've been staying late at work to increase our income, not understanding what was happening at home." Tears welled up in Matthew's eyes, his voice trembling. "I didn't know Mia was constantly leaving Amelia with Mom and Dad, causing trouble and ruining a joyful occasion. I'm truly sorry to Amelia too." Matthew deeply apologized. Tears fell onto Matthew's knees. He promised us he would talk with Mia once they got home. Hoping for Matthew and Amelia's future happiness, I watched until Matthew, taking Mia and Amelia, was out of sight. A few days later, as I was preparing dinner in the kitchen, the doorbell rang. Opening the door, I saw Matthew. "Mom, sorry for the sudden visit. May I come in?" Matthew had a serious look on his face. I sensed he had something important to discuss. "Of course. This is your home too. Come on in." I ushered Matthew into the dining room, next to the chair where Steven was sitting. Matthew sat down across from us and began. "Dad, Mom, sorry for barging in like this. After talking with Mia, I've decided to divorce her. I came today to explain properly.
Matthew's voice was steady, his resolve clear.
I found out that Mia was habitually too harsh on Amelia. I confirmed it with Amelia. Moreover, she had accumulated a significant debt from consumer loans.
I had a feeling about what Matthew was saying. That day when Mia's video account came to light, Stephen and I had reviewed Mia's video account together. Mia's posted videos mainly consisted of disciplining Amelia and showcasing high-end brand bags and clothing. The neighbor, Garcia, thought Mia was wealthy after seeing her videos featuring luxury brand bags. She hadn't watched the videos where Mia scolded Amelia, only glanced at the titles and mistakenly believed Mia was thoroughly educating her. The luxury items Mia showcased easily surpassed $10,000. I wondered how she could afford such expensive purchases.
Was that debt for buying the brand items Mia showcased in her videos?
Matthew nodded in response to my question. Mia had incurred debt to buy luxury items and feature them on her video account. The amount ballooned as she kept borrowing more to repay her debts. Matthew was unaware of the situation because Mia disposed of any collection notices before he could see them. Publicizing luxury brands and parenting videos attracted many views and attention. Mia felt superior by garnering attention, focusing only on what would shine the most. She avoided confronting the growing debt, choosing to escape reality by going out drinking, while leaving Amelia with me. After explaining, Matthew apologized to us.
Dad, Mom. From now on, I'll prioritize Amelia over work. I'm truly sorry for the trouble I've caused.
Matthew. He mentioned he discussed the divorce and custody of Amelia with Mia again and then left. A few days later, Matthew called.
Mom, I'll be living with Amelia from now on.
Matthew and Mia had disputed Amelia's custody and reached an agreement today. Despite Mia's claim to Amelia's custody, Amelia expressed her wish to stay with Matthew. When Matthew presented the excessive scolding and confirmed Amelia's preference, Mia couldn't argue, and they agreed that Matthew would retain custody. You could hear the happiness in Matthew's voice even through the phone. After the divorce, Mia's reputation quickly deteriorated and she left town. A year passed. Matthew sold the house and now lives with us and Amelia. Mia, reportedly living alone in a distant town's old apartment, is working hard to pay child support and her debts. On a cloudless, sunny Sunday noon, Madison and Paul visited. Hearing laughter from the yard while knitting on the sofa, I joined Stephen outside.
Stephen, I heard such happy voices, I had to come.
Amelia and Paul were joyfully playing ball, watched affectionately by Matthew and Madison.
Stephen, I'm so glad. Seeing them happy like this makes me truly happy.
Stephen squeezed my hand in agreement. Holding his hand back, we watched our children and grandchildren in the yard. I wished Mia had seen Amelia's smiling face instead of focusing solely on her video account's followers and views. Amelia's radiant smile shone brightly in the sunlight. We resolved to protect that smile from now on. Deep in my heart, I felt this strongly.